After Phoenix, it was a quick turnaround to figure out, how we're going to play without, Ari and Sid. And now we got to figure out how we're going to play without Soph. And we've got to figure out, who can play in certain roles. What are our substitution patterns going to be? What kind of wrinkles can we throw out there? It doesn't get easier. And I think we come back and have Minnesota twice, right? So it's really good mentally, physically, and emotionally for us. And then it gives us practice time, which we're going to need.
The WNBA has just been rocked by one of the ugliest moments of the season. It wasn't a buzzer beater or a highlight reel dunk. It was a brutal collision that sent Sophie Cunningham crashing to the floor in agony. With Caitlin Clark already sidelined by a groin injury, the Indiana Fever were already hanging on by a thread. But now, after what many fans are calling a dirty and reckless play by the Connecticut Sun, the entire season could be in jeopardy. Clark's reaction was explosive. Cunningham's family is furious, and the league is under massive pressure to respond. Was this just tough basketball, or a deliberate attempt to take out Indiana's heart and soul? Tonight, we break it all down.
I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of you too. I'm so proud of you guys. I know that sometimes it sounds like just a word when we talk about being resilient, but it's not, man. It's how we live. It's how y'all live, and it's a tribute to you. It's a tribute to your connectedness, your togetherness, your toughness, your mindset. You never give up gritty attitudes. Like, that's what it takes. That's what it takes. And
before this latest injury, Indiana was already struggling to keep their season alive without Caitlin Clark. The rookie star, sidelined for weeks with a groin injury, left the Fever fighting just to stay competitive. Every game without her turned into a test of survival, with Sophie Cunningham stepping in as the team's emotional leader. She wasn't just another starter. She was the spark, the toughness, the one player who kept the Fever's energy alive. But against Connecticut, that spark was extinguished in one horrifying moment. Cunningham's injury wasn't just a blow to the scoreboard. It was a gut punch to the team's identity, and Caitlin Clark's reaction from the sidelines said it all. Late in the game against the Connecticut Sun, the arena went silent. Sophie Cunningham went up battling for position when Sun guard Bria Hartley collided hard into her. Cunningham screamed in pain, clutching her leg as teammates frantically waved for medical help. The sight was chilling. She couldn't stand, and the pain was immediate. Clark was on her feet, yelling at officials, while fans gasped in disbelief. What looked at first like a normal play quickly turned into something far more sinister. Replays showed the contact wasn't just accidental. It looked reckless, forceful, and completely unnecessary. Within minutes, the word dirty was trending online. If the silence inside the arena was chilling, what came after was pure fire. Sophie Cunningham's family didn't hold back. Her sister immediately jumped online, blasting the league for letting such reckless play go unchecked. Her mother called it mean, dangerous, and unacceptable for professional basketball. Fans quickly rallied behind them, flooding social media with clips of the play and demanding accountability. Within hours, #DirtyHit and #ProtectOurPlayers were trending. The backlash wasn't just about this one play, it was about a pattern. Fans were demanding to know, why isn't the WNBA doing more to protect its stars? For Caitlin Clark, watching Cunningham carried off on a stretcher was almost too much to handle. Cameras caught her snapping at officials, throwing her hands up in frustration, and exchanging heated words with teammates on the bench. Sources close to the Fever say Clark was furious. Furious at the referees, furious at the Sun, and furious that yet another key piece of Indiana's roster had gone down to what looked like avoidable contact. For Clark, Cunningham wasn't just a teammate. She was her enforcer, her protector, the one who always had her back when hard fouls piled up. Now, Clark could only watch helpless, as that protection disappeared before her eyes. And yet, just when it seemed the night was doomed, the Indiana Fever delivered the most shocking response imaginable. Trailing by 21 points, with Clark in street clothes and Cunningham out on a stretcher, the Fever refused to fold. Kelsey Mitchell took over, scoring at will. Ari McDonald pushed the tempo. The bench stepped up in ways few expected. Slowly but surely, possession by possession, the gap closed. By the fourth quarter, Indiana had completely flipped the script, storming back for the biggest comeback in franchise history. The Fever weren't just playing for a win. They were playing for Clark. They were playing for Cunningham. And they were playing to prove they wouldn't be broken. To understand why Sophie Cunningham's injury hit so hard, you have to understand her role. On paper, she wasn't the rookie sensation or the league's top scorer, but she brought something just as valuable: toughness and loyalty. From the moment Caitlin Clark joined the WNBA, Sophie made it clear she had her back. When critics mocked Clark, Sophie clapped back. When opponents tried to bully Clark, Sophie stepped in. She was the enforcer, the shield, the veteran voice that said, "We protect our own." That attitude mattered in a league where Clark was targeted game after game. Losing Sophie wasn't just losing a role player. It was losing the heartbeat of the Fever's toughness. Almost immediately, fans connected Cunningham's injury to a bigger pattern. From the very start of the season, Clark had taken hard fouls that sparked national debate. Many asked, was the league doing enough to protect its biggest star? Now, with Cunningham, the one player who always defended her, going down after what looked like reckless contact, the outrage exploded. Social media filled with highlight reels of Clark taking elbows, undercuts, and shoves. Some fans accused rival players of targeting Indiana out of jealousy over the attention, the revenue, and the spotlight Clark brought. Others blamed referees for allowing physical play to escalate without consequences. Either way, the optics were ugly. Behind the scenes, reports suggest the WNBA is panicking. Caitlin Clark isn't just a rookie. She's the face of the league, the engine behind record-breaking ticket sales and TV ratings. Sophie Cunningham had become her outspoken ally, and together they represented one of the league's hottest storylines. Now both are gone, at least for the foreseeable future. Executives know the stakes. If Clark and Cunningham are sidelined, will casual fans still tune in? Will attendance dip just as the WNBA is breaking into mainstream conversation? The league suddenly finds itself in crisis, not just about injuries, but about perception, credibility, and its ability to protect the stars driving its growth. And then there's the Connecticut Sun. Online, fans are calling Bria Hartley's hit reckless, out of control, and even revenge. Was it intentional? There's no official evidence, but perception in sports is powerful. For Indiana fans, this wasn't just a hard foul. It felt personal. Videos of the play spread like wildfire, with thousands accusing the Sun of targeting. Whether that's fair or not, the narrative is already written. The Sun crossed the line. And unless the league takes decisive action, that narrative will only grow louder. For Indiana fans, the emotions are split. On one side, fear that this season is over. Clark is already out. Cunningham could be gone for months. How do you recover from losing both the heart and soul of your roster? On the other side, there's defiance. That comeback against Connecticut wasn't just a fluke, it was a message. Even without their stars, the Fever can fight. Players like Kelsey Mitchell and Nalissa Smith now shoulder the spotlight. And instead of shrinking, they seem ready to embrace it. This injury could either break Indiana or become the rallying cry that defines their season. For Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham's injury changes everything. She was already carrying the weight of being the WNBA's most scrutinized star. Now, she has lost her fiercest defender. Clark knows what's coming: more physical play, more hard fouls, and more critics waiting for her to fail. Without Cunningham, she's more vulnerable than ever. And yet, that's exactly why this story matters. Because if Clark comes back stronger, if she rallies this team without her protector, it won't just be about numbers on a stat sheet. It will be about resilience. About proving she can take every hit and still rise above it. The Cunningham injury forces the WNBA to confront a larger question. How does the league protect its stars? In the NBA, officials crack down hard on reckless fouls against marquee players. In the WNBA, critics argue the same standard doesn't exist. That double standard is now in the spotlight. Because if Clark and Cunningham are sidelined, it's not just the Fever who lose, it's the league as a whole. Ratings, ticket sales, and credibility all hang in the balance. Fans aren't just angry about one hit, they're demanding reform. They want the WNBA to prove it values player safety as much as it values growth. For the Fever, this is a crossroads. Either this becomes the turning point where the team collapses, or it becomes the fire that unites them. The comeback win against Connecticut suggests the latter. But make no mistake, the road ahead will be brutal. Minnesota is next, and playoff pressure only grows. Every player on the roster will have to dig deeper than ever before. This is about more than wins and losses. This is about identity. About proving Indiana is more than just Caitlin Clark's team. About proving toughness isn't tied to one or two players, but to the collective fight of an entire roster. What happened to Sophie Cunningham wasn't just an injury. It was a moment that shook the entire WNBA. It exposed cracks in officiating, reignited debates over dirty play, and left the Indiana Fever standing on the edge of heartbreak for history. Caitlin Clark's future this season remains uncertain. Sophie's absence threatens to strip away the team's fire. But if that comeback against the Sun proved anything, it's that the Fever won't go quietly. Sometimes, the darkest moments create the fiercest flames. The question now is simple. Does Indiana stumble under the weight of this chaos? Or do they rise, stronger, defiant, and unbreakable? The entire basketball world is watching.